Hey everybody, welcome to KM Reviews. I am Niddleman. This time I'm bringing you a spoiler-free review for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. This is a prequel slash spin-off to the Harry Potter franchise, only this time instead of following Harry Potter, we're following a guy named Newt Scamander, which I kind of find to be a strange name. It sounds more like a position on a ship than a name, but whatever, that's his name. And instead of a Hogwarts, England school type of thing. This time it's more of like the normal how wizards live their lives after school and that sort of stuff in the United States in the 1920s. And basically this guy, he has a briefcase full of all sorts of crazy, exotic wizardly type animals that muggles would not understand, or as they're known in this movie, non-mage. Because we're in the United States, they got to call it something different. Apparently, they call them non-mages over here, non-magic. Was this movie any good? Let's talk about it. So the storyline of this movie is pretty simple. This guy's got a briefcase, a bunch of his exotic animals escape, and he's got to go round them up. That's the basic premise to this. You can tell they're setting up like the next 5 movies with all the subliminal little nuggets they're giving you about the history and kind of backstory of these characters, and kind of the overall premise. There's like this other bad wizard that's not Voldemort, but this other guy who they kind of sprinkle in there, and they're kind of like, hey, here's the real story that's going to be taking place over the next 5 movies. But for this movie itself, it's a very basic premise, and it's an enjoyable premise. It's kind of cool seeing some new, creatures and stuff. You're not so focused on learning about the world, because we did all that in Harry Potter, so they kind of skip all that. They just assume you've already seen those movies, and you kind of understand the wizardly powers and stuff, so it's not that crazy to understand. And they can just skip to the more interesting stuff, which I really liked. As far as the acting and the characters go, I thought it was passable. It was nothing super crazy good. I thought Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander was very good. It kind of felt like some other roles he's done before. You kind of take some Stephen Hawking out of there. You can kind of feel that in his character here. He's just kind of this socially awkward but smart guy, and he kind of annoys people, but at the same time, he's compassionate and he's heartfelt on the inside. And I think he brought a lot of good depth to this. I thought he was casted very well. As far as the other characters, honestly, I thought they were all kind of throwaway characters. The girl that kind of helps him along and the stuttering non-mage guy, I thought they were really kind of like in there just to fill her, just so he's not the only character in the movie, but there was really nothing that made me really care about those characters at all. Whereas Eddie Redmayne, I really care about his character. Newt Scamander, I could see watching him in multiple movies and kind of seeing where he goes. I was very interested in his backstory, the way they kind of hint at it. I want to know more about it. So I am looking forward to seeing more movies, but the other characters I really don't care about. Colin Farrell, maybe he was kind of an interesting character, but when you see where his character goes in this movie, that should be interesting as well. I'll be honest, one of the negatives to this movie is the CGI. It's nothing that's like blaringly bad. It's just that we've been spoiled lately with movies like The Jungle Book, and we see CGI that is so realistic that it's almost photographically real. And then you see this movie, and it's like when you see the creatures and you see certain troll-like characters or elves or whatever the hell, you can just feel the CGI. It just stands out so blatantly, and it's just like, oh, another CGI character, oh, another CGI character, and it kind of takes you out of the movie because you can just see it so easily now. I really wish they would go back to some of the old puppeteering type days where it's realistic and they move the mouth around. I guarantee with technology nowadays they could do that pretty realistically, and they CGI'd some of the characters in this movie that they really didn't need to. Some of those elf-like creatures with like the ears and stuff, do they really need to CGI all those guys? I mean, I feel like they could make like a really cool animatronic that's pretty realistic for a couple lines. I don't know, it's little things like that bug me nowadays. I wish they would kind of do that when they could and CGI when they have to. That's why movies like Jurassic Park still hold up to today, because it's not all CGI. And the CGI they do throw in there is very minimal, compared to the rest of the movie. But anyways, that's a minor complaint because the movie is still entertaining. I can also appreciate the fact that even though they're setting this up to be like 5 movies or something, that this movie still stands on its own. So if for some reason something happened and they just never made another one of these movies, you could still take this movie for what it is. It's a full encompassing story. It's not like Lord of the Rings where they're walking and then all of a sudden it just ends and you're like, what the hell? So this movie does have a beginning, middle, and an end, but it sets it up properly for the sequels. Hopefully all the other movies do that as well. Make them all their own standalone movies that just kind of interlink together. That would be pretty cool. If you're a super big Harry Potter fan, they do sprinkle some fan service into this movie. You get mentions of Dumbledore and Hogwarts and stuff like that. A little hint at the classic music you're familiar with at the beginning of the movie. But other than that, it really is kind of its own movie. I mean, yeah, they use wands and spells and stuff, but it doesn't feel like they're shoehorning all the Harry Potter stuff down your throat. It does try to make a life of its own, and I can appreciate that. But at the end of the day, this movie does not give me the same magical feel that the Harry Potters gave me. This movie is somewhat forgettable. I enjoyed my time with it, and I could probably watch it a bunch more times and have fun with it, but it's just something about those Harry Potter movies. It hit me at the right time in my life where I grew up with it every, as a kid, and every couple of years, another one would come out. This movie just kind of felt like a cash grab, like, oh, let's make some more money on some Harry Potter movies, so let's make another movie, and they did, and it's okay, but I don't think this is going to grab the same sort of worldwide phenomena type thing that the Harry Potter movies did, but that's just a guess. I could be wrong. I hope they're better going forward, though. So with all that said, and this being kind of a long-winded thing, I think you get the point. This movie is a friends with benefits. It's fun, you'll enjoy your time with it, but it doesn't have a whole lot of substance that makes it much more than that. So guys, out of all the Harry Potter movies, which one's your favorite? For me personally, it was the very first one because that's the one that really swept me up as a kid and believing in this magical world and stuff, so that one always kind of holds a place in my heart. What about you guys? Let me know and comment below. Also remember, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, pretty much everything at Niddleman. And if you want to get updated reviews every single week, make sure you subscribe if you can handle it. Go.